How would I learn to code if I could start over? This is a question I ask myself every day, and it looks like I'm not alone here. It took me around 2 years to learn to code where I didn't need tutorials anymore. Or well, I didn't need them as much. I could turn on some music and just code. But I'm pretty stupid. I'm not the brightest. One would say I have 0 IQ. Now, during those 2 years, I made a lot of mistakes when I was learning to code. A lot of mistakes. Mistakes that I could have easily avoided. I could have saved hours, days, and honestly, I could have saved years. I wasted time on a lot of things I didn't need to know. And I think a lot of people have this problem because programming is huge. There's a lot of things you could study, but what if I could restart? What would I do differently with the knowledge I have today? That's what I'm going to explain in this video, and I hope my advice will help you out so you don't waste time like I did. So one of the first things I would do differently, and this may sound weird to some of you, is I would create a list of resources to learn programming and to catch up on some tech news, because there's always something happening in tech. These resources could be articles, blogs, newsletters, YouTube channels, anything that has useful information on programming, I would put it in the list, because as long as you're consuming something about programming, you're gonna get better. But that's a lot of work. It would take a while to create this list and find the right resources, which is why I'm excited to share this website that already does the work for you. And that's today's sponsor, daily.dev. Daily.dev is a free platform that helps you stay up to date with everything happening in programming. It's only for developers and it's free. Let me repeat, free. Over 1 million developers use it to keep track of everything that's happening in tech. So new frameworks, languages, tools, news, controversies, you name it. Combine it with their browser extension and you got yourself an amazing resource. And you can also personalize it. You tell it what you're interested in. Maybe you're learning JavaScript, Python, React, or you just want to catch up on some tech news. Just select those options on daily.dev and your feed will now only have articles and tutorials about those topics. You only see content that's relevant to what you want to learn about. And while you're reading, you can discuss and network with other developers in the comments or join squads focused on specific topics you're interested in. Now, if you're too lazy to visit daily.dev every day, you can add it as a browser extension. And once you do that, every time you open a new tab, you'll get useful programming information right there. So if you'd like to try out daily.dev, you can use my link in the description. Now, the first thing I would do if I was learning to code again, before we even start worrying about the code, is having a goal. Yeah, pretty simple and straightforward. You're gonna notice that a lot in this video. Having a goal is a cheat code. It helps you focus and it guides you. Without a clear goal, you're gonna get off track and waste time. How do I know? Because that's exactly what I did. Yeah, I was really stupid. So if I was you and I was learning to code again, I'd wanna have a goal. Now, this could be very specific. For example, your goal could be, I wanna work as a full stack developer. Your goal could also be something broad, something like, I want to learn how to make video games. But your goal can't be too broad. If your goal was to learn to code, that's not very helpful, is it? It's too broad of a goal, because how do you know if you achieved it? Does learning to code mean writing hello world? Does it mean you made your first program with, I don't know, 1,000 lines of code? Does it mean making videos teaching people how to code when you don't know how to code yourself? Wait a minute, who made this script? What does learn to code mean to you? Now, if you have an idea, then guess what, genius? I just tricked you into thinking of your actual goal. You're welcome. Yes. Unfortunately, we have to pick a programming language, and this language will decide your entire personality. So think carefully, because there's a lot of programming languages, and there's a lot of opinions about each language. Now, when I first started learning to code, I actually picked Python, and this is one of the few decisions I made that was not a mistake. Why? Because Python is a popular language, and it's beginner friendly. It really helped me get started. Some people have different opinions where they suggest C and C++, because you'll get to learn concepts like data types, pointers, memory management, and it'll be easier to transition from C and C++ to another language because of all those concepts you learned and because you suffered using those languages. And I think they're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. It works for some people, but not me. You're just gonna have to try it for yourself. But I think this time around, what I would do if I was learning to code again is I would try to use my goal to determine the language. Remember that goal you thought of earlier? Like literally 30 seconds ago? Yeah, it's actually pretty important. Your goal can help you figure out what programming language you should pick. Let's say your goal was web development. Look for languages that do web development. If you want to do game development, look for game development languages. Pretty simple. Honestly, this is pretty common sense. I don't know why you're watching this video. If I was learning to code again, my goal would probably be to become a web developer / software engineer. This means I would unfortunately have to learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If this isn't your goal, you better go figure it out, because that's not my problem. This is my video. This is how I would learn to code. Some of you might not have a goal, and that's fine. Maybe maybe you're not a sweaty tryhard, like most people in this field, and you just wanted to explore programming. That's fine, fair enough. In that case, my advice for a programming language is pick a popular and beginner-friendly language. The reason I say this is because if a language is popular, then there's a lot of resources to learn the language. Plus, if it's beginner-friendly, you're gonna have an easier time learning, and the easier it is, the less likely you're gonna quit, because you're gonna feel like such a smart person because how easy the language is. Now, the programming languages I consider popular and beginner-friendly are probably Python and JavaScript. Oh my god, here we go again. What do you want me to say? Python is basically English, and JavaScript, it's JavaScript. There's a reason why everyone recommends these languages. They're the most beginner-friendly languages out there. There's a lot of high-quality resources to learn these languages. You can use them for a lot of things. A lot of companies use both of these languages. There's really not many cons to this. And if you're one of those people that are like, oh, this is not real programming, I don't... Yeah, so, I recommend Python or JavaScript as your first language if you don't have a goal. I think they'd be a good starting point. It'll give you a good idea of what programming is like. If you do have a goal, do some research on how to achieve your goal and use the programming language that'll get you there. Feel free to use ChatGPT to help you. Now, once you pick your language, stick to the one language. Please. There's this thing that a lot of beginners struggle with, and I struggled with it when I first started learning to code. Well, honestly, I still struggle with it today. Shiny object syndrome. It's basically when you get distracted from something else and you drop everything that you were doing. And this happens a lot in programming, because let's say you're learning Python and then suddenly you see some cool JavaScript project on YouTube. Now you want to learn JavaScript. And when you're just getting comfortable with JavaScript, someone tells you, Rust is the future, bro. And now you just want to learn Rust. That's shiny object syndrome. And let me tell you something, it's a trap. Before you know it, you're juggling like 5 different programming languages, and guess what? You suck at all of them. Look, I get it. You're new to programming, you don't know what you're doing, but here's what nobody tells you. No matter what programming language you pick, you're going to learn the same thing. Whatever programming language you pick, you're gonna have to learn these fundamentals: variables, loops, functions, conditionals, arrays. Every single programming language uses these concepts. You're gonna have to learn these, so make sure you learn them well. Now, if I was learning to code today, I would learn these fundamentals, but there's another thing I would also learn early on: version control with Git and GitHub. Now, I know Git and GitHub sound boring, but trust me, please, learning Git and GitHub early is gonna save you from so many headaches. And unfortunately, you're gonna need to know it when you start programming with other people, or when you program professionally, if you make it that far. It's not even that complicated. There's only a few commands you really need to know at first. Git add, it adds the files, pretty straightforward. Git commit, it'll save your changes and you'll add a message to it. And Git push, where you upload your code to GitHub and it saves it. That's it for now. If you need something else, then just Google it or ask ChatGPT. I don't need to hold your hand. You know what to do. I'm gonna be honest with you, finding information about programming is pretty hard when you're just getting started. When I first started learning to code, I obviously didn't know a lot of the lingo and jargon, so it was really hard to find the right information. I was overwhelmed with options, YouTube tutorials, books, courses. It's pretty overwhelming. Now, which one's the best? My videos, obvious. The truth is, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. There's no definitive way to learn programming. People have different learning styles and goals, and that calls for different approaches. But this is a video on what I would do today, so let me tell you what resources I would personally use. Now remember, my goal is to be a full stack developer or software engineer, so if you don't want to do that, these resources might not be helpful to you. You're gonna have to do your own research. I'm sorry. Now, if I was starting over today, one resource I would definitely rely on is roadmap.sh. This isn't sponsored. I genuinely think it's an amazing resource. Roadmap.sh is basically a guide that shows you what you need to learn and in what order. If you want to be a web developer, here's your path. Backend developer, here's what you need to know. They've got roadmaps for basically every position, and they keep adding new roadmaps. Plus, they have like an AI roadmap generator, which is pretty good. I would recommend it. They're awesome. Now, another resource I would definitely use, documentation. Yeah, it's pretty boring and straightforward. Now, I know it sounds boring and everybody says this, but trust me, there's an alarming amount of beginners who don't know how to read documentation, and I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty crazy. But I'll be honest, when I first started, I avoided documentation like the plague. I'd watch 3 hours of tutorials instead of spending 15 minutes reading documentation. Don't be like me, please. Oh, and if we're talking about resources, there's this newsletter called Sloth Bytes written by this cool guy named the CodeCrafters. I'm just saying, if I was learning to code again, I would definitely subscribe to Sloth Bytes. Projects. Fun, kinda. Depends on what you make. Yeah, I'm starting to understand why it took me this long to learn to code. If I was learning to code again, the moment I learned the fundamentals, I would start building projects. ASAP. As soon as you can. And I know what you're thinking.
But I don't know enough yet. I'm not ready. I need to watch more tutorials.
No, you don't. Look, you're never gonna feel 100% ready. That's just how it is. That's what programming is in a nutshell. You're never gonna feel ready for whatever you're doing. Now, if you want some project ideas, I have a juicy video giving you 20 ideas. If you don't wanna watch that, I understand, but I just don't like you. For project ideas, think of something you'd find useful. And if you still can't think of anything, copy something. And if you don't know what to copy, then ask AI to give you project ideas. Actually, I'll do you one better. Make a project that gives you project ideas. Oh my God, I'm so smart. Why didn't I think of this sooner? Oh, and if you wanted to create a project for your resume, here's a little tip. Look at job postings for whatever positions that you want and read the description and look at the technologies that they're using and create projects using those technologies. Pretty simple and straightforward. Yeah, that's what I would do. Projects are pretty simple. Just build yourself some basic projects and move up to more advanced ones, or slowly turn your basic project into a more advanced one. As long as you're working on a project, you're going to be learning how to code, and that's what matters. And with enough projects, you'll be ready for jobs and internships are pretty simple. If you listen to all my tips, so you created your goal, you found your programming language, you learned the fundamentals and version control, and you created some advanced projects, you should definitely be ready to start applying to jobs and internships, and you'll most likely get your first interview. Oh,